What's up, everybody? It's Joe Justice. I'm in Tokyo, Japan right now, and I'm thinking of making a GT300 body kit for the Tesla Model 3. I think supporting electrification of mobility, electric cars, is social good and totally awesome. They're thrilling to drive. The instant torque is simply a better delivery method than internal combustion. Zero lag time between shifts, zero lurch to the tires during shifting, and fully adjustable drag on lift to give adhesion back when you lift during aggressive driving makes for a superior platform. And the ability to, at a much more refined level of nuance and at a much faster increment, modulate torque, in some cases per wheel, depending on the car, is also superior to what we're currently able to do with internal combustion. Plus, it's way better for the planet. And it's the only method that has a sustainable future if we care about carbon emissions. Now, if that's something cool and that's something good, then making it even cooler and even gooder is even better. I love the look of Super GT cars, global touring cars, DTM cars, Deutsch Touring Masterworks cars. And those series have merged what their car aerodynamic package is allowed to be, which determines mostly how the cars can look. What I'd like to do is make a body kit, likely out of carbon fiber, because that's what I know the most about, and my partner's Rob Moorbacher at Moore Composites, that makes the Tesla Model 3 look as much like a GT300 car as is road legally possible. The benefits of that is it'll have a larger frontal area, so there'll be more aero drag, and that will reduce range and top speed. In exchange, well, depending on how we channel the air, we might be able to be neutral or even come slightly ahead. So there's a chance that the total coefficient of drag aerodynamically might be less. The benefit in either case, though, is at high speed, higher grip, because there'll be more adhesion from all four tires, more downforce on the front and rear, which will attempt to balance. The other benefit is it allows wider tires to be out of the slipstream of debris, rain, snow directly hitting them, or air directly hitting them. And also in some areas, you're not allowed to have your tires stick out past the fenders. So it'll allow wider tires. Wider tires means more rubber on the road at a time, a wider contact patch. And that means more acceleration, more braking, and more turning. All the things we want. Plus, it will look like a race car, which to me is a huge value all by itself, even if the car's never driven. Pictures of the car on a beach in front of monuments like the Space Needle or the Tokyo Skytree or the Tokyo Tower or wherever you are. Pictures in your garage, pictures in front of your favorite park, pictures wherever you think is important, or just looking at it. I know when I owned an Acura NSX, I would get up at night often and just look at it in the garage. And I loved that. It was like a gorgeous piece of mechanical engineering art. And for people who like this type of thing like I do, that's really the strongest benefit. So yeah, it'll improve the mechanical capability of the car, and there'll be trade-offs too. The total aerodynamic drag might increase. We'll try to make it neutral or maybe even better, but it might increase. Also, because the car's wider on the fenders, and we're now introducing a rear spoiler, rear wing, it might affect autopilot. I'll attempt to shape the fenders so they have cutaways to look almost exactly the same from where the cameras see the car. And I'll test and attempt to have zero impact on autopilot. But there's a chance that this kit will invalidate autopilot. So that's a risk. Or have autopilot behave differently, and autopilot might need to be retrained. And Tesla might not like that because their autopilot might get confused data being sent back to Tesla. So we'll have to iteratively step test that, likely by taping foam blocks onto the car first that are the approximate shape of the fenders, and testing the same autopilot runs as without, because autopilot in the areas where I drive the car currently works really well, including full drive on autopilot. I'm forgetting the word right now. Navigate on autopilot works really well in the areas I drive the car. So we can do back-to-back testing as we shape the fenders. Again, by having conical cutouts, which actually can be excellent for aerodynamic drag too, we can reduce or even eliminate the car looking any different from the vantage point of where the cameras are placed. So we'll attempt that, we'll try. Now, a trivial matter, but it does matter, is inside the Tesla Model 3, there's a display of your car from the outside. It's color matched to the color your car was when it left the factory. It looks like your car when it left the factory. And you see that digital picture of your car on the center display many times, depending on what you're doing. It won't look like the outside of the car anymore, and that's kind of sad, because you'll have this awesome looking race car, but you'll know that's not how it came from the factory, because the factory display shows the way your car looked when it came from the factory, and this body kit to make it look like a GT300 car, and be able to fit tires similar in size. It might not be as wide, because a GT300 car actually has a different chassis that's more narrow, so the tires can come closer together. And in this case, we won't want the tires to come closer together. That'd be cutting and changing the chassis, which would be a different level of effort. In this case, we can only go wider on the outside, so the overall width might not be as extreme, which is really too bad, because more is better when we're talking about tire grip, if we're talking about dynamic action like accelerating, braking, and turning. Yes, things. This is the strategy. I'm in Tokyo, Japan right now, and I have a composites layup kit and partnerships in America. And I visited composites facilities in Japan, Voltex and others. I'll try to have the kit developed in both places. And I'll try to have it validated in both places. My Tesla right now is in America. So the fit testing and the 3D scanning and the measuring of the parts will continue there for now. That said, I have seen a Model 3 in Japan already at the racetrack at Twin Ring Motegi. So soon there'll likely be more available here as well for measuring here. This is also why the timing might be good. Many of these body kits come from Asia and originate in Japan. And a high volume of the sales, the majority of the sales for some kits, comes from Japan. And the Tesla Model 3 is pre-orderable in Japan, but not yet available. So having this kit developed and tested in Japan and America simultaneously, we might be able to be earlier to market in Japan than anyone else. And we might be able to produce kits for Japan in Japan and kits for the US in the US, and then export from both those areas as two hubs. That gives us local production advantage, which gives us government support. And it gives us, I say us right now, this is my kooky idea, just me. But hopefully someone else will be interested too, and there'll be more than just me. So I'll say us, aspirationally. It might give us tax benefit, and it'll give us reduced shipping. Reduced shipping in Japan, reduced shipping in the US, which are the largest and third largest economies in the world. And it'll give us reduced cost shipping to China, because China to Japan is quite low, and that's the second largest economy in the world. Then I have partners in Italy, Switzerland, Germany, Netherlands, and one other. So it's possible to have production, or at least relay shipping, through Europe as well. So I think we have an opportunity to be early to market globally and first or early to market in Japan, which lets us set some of the trends. So the next question is, can we make this thing beautiful enough to be interesting to the people who want this anyway? It sure looks like it. The Wikispeed cars we built before, the entire exterior of the cars are built by us. Well, the entire car, all of it. But the entire exterior is carbon fiber. So not just a body kit, the entire body and the interior and everything else. And the feedback we've received is they're gorgeous. Those cars have been featured in Road and Track, on Forbes, the Forbes Billionaire Club, linked about these cars, saying it's a company to watch. They've passed the laugh test of, are these things serious looking enough? Are they real looking enough? And it appears that the market or the media has validated that our carbon capabilities are gorgeous, that they're saleable. Then the next question is there a big enough market? I don't have access to the sales numbers of some of the higher priced body kits or the lower priced volume intent body kits. I don't know. That's a risk. I might be the only customer. So I'll be relying on Facebook likes, retweets, Reddit mentions, comments to see if there are other people who know someone or are someone who would actually be financially interested. I don't know. That's a risk. So that means I have to be really lean about development costs so that if I'm only ever making a kit for me, I can afford it. So I'm definitely not going to be investing in extremely expensive tooling on the onset until there's been demonstrated cash in, money down from at least 100 other people to invest in the tooling. That said, the part quality of low volume tooling, the way we do it, the way Wikispeed has developed it, which became famous, is as good or better. So with low volume tooling, we can't make 100,000 parts on the same tool, but the first 100 parts can be just as high, or in some cases even higher quality than the first 100 parts on a production aluminum or steel or machined composite tool. So that means we can be very low cost. And yes, we would want to make a higher volume tool or remake the low volume tool if we got more than, say, 100 orders. But we can engage in a way that won't break the bank, even if I'm the only order. This is the scheme and the strategy. Oh gosh, we'll see how many years this actually takes. It's November 15th, 2019, and this is the idea in my head right now. Nothing's made, nothing's drawn. Wouldn't it be cool if this were done super fast? When I look back to this video and see how long ago it is, we'll know the actual time. It's dated. It's 12:36 p.m. Tokyo time. Let's see who's interested, if anybody. And maybe we'll make it work. And if the GT300 body kit works, then wouldn't it be awesome to make a GT500 body kit, which is a different aerodynamics allowed package by the rule set. So they look different. There's a different wing. There's different widths. For the Tesla Model S, and eventually the new Tesla Roadster and the first gen Tesla Roadster, and then eventually GT300 and GT500 body kits for all, and then maybe some other series or other style kits as well. But I'll start with one that's mainstream, aggressive. You absolutely will know it's special and different when you see it on the road. Seeing a GT300 style vehicle will not be missed. Even if it's all black, it will be highly visually evident. So it's a good one to start with. It'll help establish our brand and market perception. I think we have a track record of doing this type of work with extremely high quality and an extremely low internal production price, and with no cost for shutting down. So it's not like we have a leasehold factory where if we don't have a regular cadence of orders, we have to shut down. We can simply pause the method of production because we use extreme manufacturing. So it's a zero cost except in operation method. And there's no cost to make change. So we can iterate the thing forever as long as there's customer interest to keep making and improving the thing. Because of that, I think we're the best qualified in the world to do this. And I love it. So it means it'll be fun for me to put my time towards. And we're financed by me to be able to make at least one, which will validate. And so we'll see. Like, retweet, comment, Reddit, if you or someone you like is also interested in one, and that will let us right size let me right size the development spend. Feel free to make a shorter video of this. Somehow becoming 15 minutes. I got excited. To re-explain the key points and pitch it more broadly if you want. And Tesla team, if any of you happen to see this, you have my respect and admiration. The work you're doing is making the world the world I want to live in and the worlds I want my kids to live in, more so than maybe any other automotive company right now on the planet, and almost more so than any other company of any type in the world right now. In fact, it's very similar to what Wikispeed's original goal was. In fact, it's basically what Wikispeed's original goal was. We also wanted to revolutionize manufacturing in a different way than Tesla team is doing it. We are relying on hot swappable modularity, which was part of the Model S and then has been moved away from, and I get the reasons why. But that has made the development cycles for some parts of Tesla products much longer than Wikispeed originally experienced. That said, Tesla team, you've gone way farther than what Wikispeed as my hobby project was able to do so far. You have my absolute respect, and any type of collaboration is more than invited. So let me know. What would help the most is CAD, actual CAD of not just the body panels, but the surfaces and mounting points under the body panels on the frame itself. That would be a significant shortcut and avoid our measurement error. And any information on production variants, I know that's highly sensitive because of the critiques that Tesla team gets unfairly, in my opinion, thrown at them. So I understand if you don't share that. But if you can, that's even better. It lets us know what tolerances to build in our part that mates to your part. So basically reverse engineering, because it's your engineering already, of the mount points, the modular interface is huge to us. Then software support, if you would change any of the pictures or any of the renderings or 3D models inside the cabin of the car to match how we're trying to make the body kit look, that's such an enormous value add in terms of the complete fit and finish and value of the car. So that would be massive, Tesla team. And ultimately, if our product were high quality enough, if we iterated to it being OEM quality enough, ultimately, even offering it as a Tesla endorsed product, that has a much stronger brand than we're able to wield easily. And we might be able to build a brand with the aftermarket that's significant enough for us to have a tremendous amount of fun. But if we're ever good, cool, finished enough to be OEM spec, that's the grand ultimate release. And then the upside is we have a wider sales network, we have a wider support network, and there's even the possibility of the parts being warrantyable. So that's the grand ultimate future. But in the meantime, let's have as much fun as possible, make the most beautiful thing possible, and see if we can make stuff that's, in my vantage point, saving the world, even cooler and more fun, from the angle of what I think is even cooler and more fun. Not everybody likes Super GT cars. I love them, and I'm not the only one. Thousands and thousands of people attend these races, even in the rain, have posters of them, models of them, make their cars look a little bit more like them to the extent they can, or aspire to, even if they don't yet. And I think this will let environmentalists converge with automotive culture in a way that hasn't happened yet, but is starting to. And I think this will propel and accelerate that. And no, that's not everybody. And not all 8 billion people on the planet are going to drive Super GT 300 style Tesla Model 3s. And gosh, if we're really aiming for impact, we want to be aiming for something all 8 billion people on the planet would want to do that would make the world better. So this isn't that. This isn't the ultimate. But it's a really fun step that doesn't move backwards. It's directionally correct. And the capabilities that are built by doing this, up to potentially even collaborating with Tesla team if we're good enough and if there's interest on that side, if it makes sense. But every step before that, the friends we'll make at racetracks, the interests in e-mobility we'll make from traditional petrol brands and marketers and sponsors, etc., magazines, media. That's worth doing, and it builds up capability for us to do bigger and bigger and cooler things, way beyond body kits, way beyond cars, potentially. Because the goal is make the world better, make the world more sustainable, more people, healthy, loving, collaborative. We're aiming for the healthy part here environmentally. And not just for humans, for all the plants, all the animals. A more respectful place. So aiming towards that with those as our value set, and as we increase the capability, as I increase my capability, and anyone who's collaborating, it should make about stuff that's good and be gooderer. That's the intent. Here we go.